Yes, let's bring him in. Our world champion, all-around good guy, the coach, the player, 18 years as part of the association, the great Avery Johnson. Coach, Hawks win. They blow out Phoenix. What did this game say to you? Sort of translate that for me.
Well, what it translates into is the Hawks are going to end up being the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks' schedule is brutal. You look at what the Knicks, the Suns, Lakers, Clippers, the Hawks are going to end up being the 4th seed, and they're going to be a team that can potentially advance in the first round, depending on how it shakes out at the top of the Eastern Conference. Trae Young, I coached against Trae Young when he was at Oklahoma, and I was coaching at Alabama. He's a stud. He's playing against one of my players, Colin Sexton. This guy is a double-double when he gets out of the bed at night. And the depth that they, Gallinari, Bogdanovic, give the Hawks front office credit. They went out and provided quality, experienced depth. And it really showed tonight in that game in terms of the way they performed on both ends of the floor. They got the inside, outside. Nate McMillan. If Nate McMillan was coaching early in the year and he was the head coach at the start of the season, he could very well be in a conversation with Tom Thibodeau and Monty Williams for Coach of the Year because of the job he's done. So the Hawks are clicking on all cylinders.
All right, so if you like the Hawks as the 4 seed, that means you have the Knicks, the Heat, and the Celtics who will shake out at 5, 6, and 7. Big difference being 5 or 6 versus 7. If you're the 5, you're probably getting the Hawks. If you're the 6, you may end up with the Nets in the first round. And if you're at 7, you got to go to that play-in tournament. So these are important seeds. When you look at the Knicks, the Heat, and the Celtics, how's that going to show? Who's going to be in that play-in tournament? Who's going to be the 5, the 6, and the 7?
It's probably going to be the Heat because they haven't been consistent. They've been a model of inconsistency all year. Jimmy Butler's talked about it. This is a different team than what you saw in the bubble last year. This is a different team that played in the NBA Finals. They've been very inconsistent. They haven't shot the ball as well. A lot of their younger players in their rookie years last year that were superstar players and played above their DNA and their development, they're not the same players this year. They've been very inconsistent. They've turned the ball over. They haven't had the same type of consistency on defense. Obviously, guys like Andre Iguodala has been, a very integral part of their team. But and they've lost a couple of guys that are not a part of this team this year. So I look at the Heat as being a team in the Eastern Conference that's going to be in that play-in tournament. It's not a play-in game, play-in tournament. But I don't see them complaining about it like LeBron James.
So you like the Hawks to be the 4. You like the Heat to be the 7 and end up in the play-in tournament, which means you have the Knicks and the Celtics 5 or 6. You mentioned the Knicks' schedule is brutal. It was brutal tonight. You got to go to Denver, tough place to play. Last time the Knicks won in Denver, Stephon Marbury was their point guard. And it showed. They got absolutely walloped. They have a brutal schedule. And Denver's also good. Despite the fact they have some injuries, they're good. They're not going to be 100% in the playoffs, but what are the Nuggets' sort of playoff chances in your mind?
Well, I think it's going to be tough because, when you're missing, the number 2 leading scorer on your team and your second leading scorer is out for, with an ACL injury, even though Jokic has been incredible. Let's give him, let's agree to disagree or agree on one thing. Jokic is the MVP of the NBA.
Yeah, he's the MVP. He had 24 points in the first quarter. Our friends at William Hill have him at over 90% to win it. They can start chiseling the name. And there are a lot of consonants there, so they don't want to have to redo it. You can start. It's going to be his. That's it. He's earned it. He deserves it. It's going to be Jokic.
Yeah, here near the Mavericks, the American Airlines Center, Dirk Nowitzki has a street named after him. Let's start naming a street after this guy in Denver, all right? Because he's been that good. He's special. He can pass, dribble, and shoot. He can be the quintessential .5. He can play with his back to the basket. You can play him at 5. You can play him at 4. He's done it all. And, when you look at the contributions that he has with his team, especially with missing his Robin, knowing that he's Batman, let's just give him the MVP trophy. And that's with all due respect to guys like, a Joel Embiid, Chris Paul, who's making a serious move. Even though they lost tonight, he still should be in the conversation. But Jokic is the MVP. And the Denver Nuggets are going to go as 4 as Nikola Jokic leads them in the finals.
All right, well, let's end our conversation this way. If they named a street after you, it would be Avery Johnson. You're going to go street, Avery Johnson Road, Avery Johnson Way, Avery Johnson Boulevard, Avery Johnson Avenue. I mean, how are we ending this thing? Avery Johnson what?
Avery Johnson Drive.
Okay, because he's going to the hoop. Of course. That's what it's got to be. And then you know what he's going to do? He's going to dish to somebody else for the easy 2.
Hey, because he can't. My drives don't cooperate with me on the golf course. So I think we can name it Avery Johnson Drive.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Coach. Let's do it again soon.
Okay.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.